Hi, this is Amy.
Hey, this is Matt.
Greetings, Tauntauns. This is Devin Cleffer.
And this is
Hyperspace.
PodBlast.
Aren't you a little short for a podcast?
Huh? All right, ladies and gents, welcome in again to Rapid Fire Fandom Fridays. We are here today with Miss Amy Wishman.
Hey, Amy.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Cool. So we are doing, remind us again, Amy, what are we doing? Star Wars and?
My favorite book of all time, in fact, in my opinion, the greatest book ever written, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen.
Whoa, it's out there now. All novel snobs.
I stand by it. That's my desert island book. If I was ever stranded on a desert island, Pride and Prejudice is the book I'd want with me.
I suppose I can get on board with that.
Yeah, it's really good.
I wouldn't be mad if that's what I was left with. How about that? It wouldn't be what I
There's
picked, but...
There's a lot worse stuff out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you listened to any of the audiobooks?
I have done audio versions of it before. And I also really, really love the 1995 BBC adaptation with Colin Firth as Mr. Darcy.
Yeah.
Right on, yeah.
Awesome.
It's my all-time favorite book. It's the perfect novel, in my opinion. And I treat myself, I don't read it all the time because I still want it to feel like special. And so every New Year, beginning of the year, January 1st, that's the first book I read of every year. And I read it once a year, every year. And every year there's something new strikes me. Like I appreciate something new or I get a bit of humor I didn't get before. So I love it.
Yeah,
awesome.
Life experiences change the way you take things in. I can see that.
So what does, you're saying that you read this every year. So how does this compare to your love of Star Wars?
Well, I would say one difference is I love them both, but like I'm the only Austenite in my family, my immediate family. Like my husband has watched the BBC Pride and Prejudice with me one time, and we've been married for 10 years. And my kids are just too young to appreciate the, like the biting humor and the wit. That's what I really love about Jane Austen. So it's not as accessible. It's much more of a solitary pursuit. It's like in my day-to-day life with my family. I have friends that love the book and sharing it with them, but it's just not as much a part of my life as like, my 9-year-old Star Wars obsessed. So
right, yeah.
Cool. So if you could take 3 characters from Pride and Prejudice, who would they be in Star Wars?
Well, I have to start with Mr. Darcy, of course, and I think that Mr. Darcy would be Agent Callus.
Ooh.
And I think that he would be Callus because Mr. Darcy, like especially at the beginning of the novel, has very strict notions of order, of one's place in society, of right and wrong, and he, through the course of the novel, and his interaction and eventual romance with Elizabeth, comes to realize that some of the notions that he thought were, not good. His parents raised him, and they taught him to be a moral person, but not necessarily a good person. And so that kind of reminds me of Callus's journey, who, joined the Empire and I think thought it was like he was doing a good thing, and then realized through his, interactions with the rebels, the growth crew, particularly Zeb, that he needed to make a difference. So, plus, they both are attractive in their own way, and they both have really good sideburns, and they both have really posh voices. So
#, Hot Darcy.
Oh.
Yeah, that goes without saying.
Nice. All right, so 2 more, right?
I want me to keep going. I also I don't know how familiar you are with Pride and Prejudice, so I think that Lady Catherine Berg, Mr. Darcy's aunt, I think that she would be Palpatine.
I can see that, yeah.
Trying to orchestrate everything,
intellectual and cunning as Palpatine, but her desire to dominate and to control others and to have people be in fealty and almost in awe of her, I think correlates well with especially maybe prequel Palpatine, pre-Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, I see that.
And then I think, this is kind of cheating, but I think you could take the 3 youngest sisters, the Bennett sisters, Mary and Kitty, and Lydia, and I think they would probably be the worst handmaidens that Padme ever had.
Especially the two youngest, yeah.
Yeah, especially Kitty and Lydia. And Mary would just be like, well, actually, everybody all the time.
Yeah.
So
I like it.
Yeah, that works pretty well. So if you could take one person from Pride and Prejudice and put them into Star Wars, who would it be and where would you put him?
I think that I would take Mr. Collins.
Ugh.
And I think that he would be, this kind of follows with the Lady Catherine as Palpatine allusion, but he would be a really good Masamita. He's so groveling and greasy and fawning and all about, feeding Lady Catherine's ego. I think that would transition really well to his role in the Republic and then later the Empire.
Yeah, Mr. Collins is so gross.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right,
think
so...
of Masamita doing that marriage proposal to Elizabeth, and there you go.
No.
Oh, you just ruined Chagrians for me forever. Thanks, Amy. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So, vice versa, if you had to take someone from Star Wars and put them into Pride and Prejudice, how would that work out?
I think that Mon Mothma would be the best fit as far as fitting in. Her clothing would, be pretty acceptable, I think, by Regency era standards. She's got the poshness down, and I think her manners and diplomacy could probably help her navigate all the different societal rules that existed for genteel folks back then. So she would be the most logical choice. Satine might be good for those same reasons too. But it would be fun to kind of see Jabba just to see what would happen. Maybe he and Wickham could get some side deals going or something.
Oh, yeah. That's a funny mental image right there.
Yeah.
All right, so this is probably the question you've been waiting for, since we know you are one of the shipping crew. So if you could ship one character from Pride and Prejudice and one from Star Wars, what would their relationship be like?
This was actually harder than I thought it would be because I think the ships that are in Pride and Prejudice, I mean, they're OTPs. It's Darcy and Elizabeth. It feels wrong to put them with somebody else. Or it's Jane and it's Bingley. But I thought that if Mr. Darcy was in the Star Wars universe, he would probably admire Hera a lot because I think that she has many characteristics that are similar to what he admires in Elizabeth. And I think Uncle Owen and Mr. Bennett might hit it off, and they could kind of be crusty old men together.
I like this idea.
That's funny.
I couldn't be heteronormative, so I was trying to be, diverse.
There you go.
And then I thought that given the right circumstances, Charlotte Lucas and Leia could potentially hit it off. I think that they would both admire the practicality and the sense of duty that the other person has. I think they could complement each other very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, too.
I
like
like
This Lars and Mr. Bennett.
I really like
Mr.
that one.
Bennett
Yeah, that's probably my favorite out of all of those.
Yeah.
They would be like the Statler and Waldorf kind of is the image that I have in my mind. Not to throw in another franchise into the mix, but that's what
Throw them
comes
all
to
in.
mind.
That's right. Stir the pot
So,
or something.
what do you think are the similarities between Star Wars and Pride and Prejudice? Any sort of crossovers or parallels that you've kind of drawn yourself or anything like that?
Well, I haven't done a thoughtful analysis and looked at plot points or story structure or anything like that. I think that ways that they're similar is that they're enduring popularity. I think Pride and Prejudice was published in 1813, and people still read it. They still talk about it. They still make movies and adaptations of it. And, we just celebrated the 40th anniversary of Star Wars, and it's still going strong, too. So I think their endurance is something that they have in common. I think they both, for their time, did and have done interesting things with the role of women. Austen didn't do anything terribly revolutionary, but she did feature women in her novels. She gave them intelligence. She gave them wit. She didn't really give them a lot of agency, but there wasn't a lot of agency for women at the time that she wrote. Similarly, if you look at Star Wars, they still have a lot of work to go towards gender parity, but they have done, some things. Having Leia be so strong in A New Hope, and having, Rey in The Force Awakens, and Padme and all of her awesomeness is like in Attack of the Clones and The Phantom Menace. So I think that giving an opportunity or a venue for strong women is something that they've both done. And for me, I think the biggest thing for like when looking at the two of them for me personally is it doesn't matter how many times I've read Pride and Prejudice. You know, I've been reading it once a year for like over 20 years now. And every time I appreciate something about it. And, you know, I've been watching Star Wars pretty much my whole life. And every time I watch it, I never get tired of it. It never gets old. I still notice new things and stuff I didn't appreciate before. So I don't know if that just makes me like the least observant person ever, or it just shows how timeless they both are. And they really are classics in their own right.
No, I would agree with that. I think I still, from time to time, just link things, especially with Star Wars, because new stuff comes out and you think about something new and how it reflects on the old stuff. But yeah, there's definitely no book I've read every year for 20 years. But there's things I've revisited, and I do often. But to that same token, half the time I forget stuff. So, you know, it's like new again by the time I read it again.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Amy. We appreciate your time.
Thanks for letting me come on and talk about Hot Darcy and Statler Waldorf, Uncle Owen and Mr. Bennett.
Yes.
Our new power couple.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah,
all right. We'll catch you later. Legit. Oh, wait. Amy, where can people find you?
I am on social media. I'm on Twitter, and that's at Amy Wishman. AMYWISHMAN, and I also do some writing for unmistakably.starwars.com, and I'm a guest writer at futureoftheforce.com.
Sweet.
Busy gal.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you later, Amy.
Thanks. May the force be with you.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Greetings, my little tauntauns. This is Devin Cleffer, co-host of the Unmistakably Star Wars podcast, inviting you to join us for a high-quality, informative, and engaging look into the Star Wars galaxy. So once your journey on Hyperspace PodBlast docks in the landing bay, set the coordinates in the Navicomputer for unmistakably.starwars.com. And be sure to follow us on Twitter at unmistakably.sw. And now, back to Hyperspace PodBlast with Shelby and that other guy.
And welcome back, everyone, to Rapid Fire Fandom Fridays. Thank you for coming and enjoying this wonderful time we have together.
Anyway, we're here with Mr. Matt Spatzel. Spatzel, is that right?
That's right. You actually said it right. It's rare.
Spatzel.
Like a pretzel.
Anyway, we are doing Star Wars and Gravity Falls, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know what Gravity Falls is, it's a terrific cartoon from Disney XD. It had 2 seasons, I think, yeah?
I think
yes.
So. I think it was 2.
Yeah, I think it was 2. Doing what we do here. Why do you love Gravity Falls, and how does it compare to your love of Star Wars?
So I grew up in the colonial area of Virginia, and so I was always surrounded by ghost stories, paranormal stuff. You watch Are You Afraid of the Dark and all that.
Yes.
Right? And there's always like books that in my house that was like about UFOs or like Weekly World News magazines and stuff. So like I feel like I kind of grew up in Gravity Falls. When I finally found it and started watching it, at first I was like, okay, it's just kind of a good show, and then I was like, wow, this is really familiar to me.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so I enjoy it as a great story, but in comparison to Star Wars, it didn't change me as a human being, I think, the way Star Wars did. Star Wars changed everything as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I feel that. Star Wars is just like part of me, where most everything else that I enjoy is like just something I hold dear.
So if you could take 3 characters from Gravity Falls and put them in Star Wars, who would they be?
I would do Mabel, and I would put Mabel in as Clone Wars era Ahsoka.
All right, okay.
I like it.
Because I just figure she would annoy Anakin to death.
Absolutely.
Also, to harken back, your guys' last Rapid Fire, you guys talked about Bob's Burgers, and she's the voice of Louise as well. Oh, yeah, so 3 characters.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would take Zeus, and I would make him 3PO. Because they're both comic relief characters that comment on the storyline from outside of it.
That's
Zeus is the character who just kind of walks into like madness, says something random, and then walks away. So I could see like Leia's ship getting taken by the Star Destroyer, and then Zeus looking up and being like, "Oh guys, we're totally boned, dude."
That's amazing.
And I guess for my last one, I'd take Grunkle Stan, and I'd make him Lando. Because he's already like a swindler and gambler and
shifty
con artist and
oh man,
he's
good.
an honest businessman.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But he could really be any scoundrel. You can make him Hondo or
now I wonder.
Oh, Hondo.
Yeah, you could make him Han, but only if like the pig was Chewbacca.
Okay, so if you could take one person from Gravity Falls and actually put them into Star Wars somewhere, who would it be and where would you put them?
Bill Cipher. I
my gosh.
would choose Bill Cipher right off the bat. And I would put him in Rebels. So like, season 2, that finale on the temple, they're doing their fight, and then the temple opens its eye.
Oh my gosh.
And I would then pit him against Thrawn because like that would be the best fight in the world.
Wow.
Because like how could, the Grand Admiral find a pattern against madness?
Yeah, like magical, like otherworldly madness versus pure tactical genius.
You like art, do you, Blue Harvest? Here's a head that won't stop screaming. Man, I'm just doing voices
honestly,
today. I'm sorry.
I love it.
And I guess Bill Cipher does have a weakness, which is that he's very narcissistic, so everything's about himself. And so catering to that probably wouldn't be too difficult for Thrawn.
So vice versa, if you could take one person from Star Wars and throw them into Gravity Falls, where would you put them?
I would take the Bendu and put him in Gravity Falls. And I think more because like him speaking in riddles would just infuriate everybody. Grunkle Stan and Dipper.
For sure, Grunkle Stan.
Yeah. Mabel would be so all about it. She would be best friends with the Bendu.
Yeah, she'd be like braiding his like random hair mats.
Yeah, exactly.
She'd like knit him a sweater.
Right.
Yes, with a moose on it, of course.
I want to draw that.
Do it, yes.
Yeah.
That can be one of my daily Star Wars
with
drawings.
the moose sweater. There you go. Now for the fun one. Ship one character from Gravity Falls and one character for Star Wars, and tell us what that relationship would be like.
That one was tough for me because everyone in Gravity Falls is so young.
True.
But I'd probably choose Dipper and Sabine.
Ooh.
Probably because they're basically the same relationship as Dipper and Wendy.
I can see that.
She's older, she's a little edgy. She has some of her own anxieties and insecurities. She's totally BA. So I think like she's kind of the Rebels equivalent of Wendy.
So what do you see are the similarities between Star Wars and Gravity Falls? Any like parallels or crossovers that you noticed or kind of made in your own head?
Disney.
Disney.
You wanted more than that. It's got a bunch of stuff. I think it's loose because they're completely different story types, I guess. But they both have family secrets. Fantastic creatures. Comedy in unexpected places. So there's really serious moments in both shows that they end up throwing a joke in there that I'm like, wow, that's really well placed. If we go by the Last Jedi trailer, books with secrets in them.
Ooh, yeah, very good point.
An unsympathetically evil villain. Like unapologetically evil.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
I don't know. I guess, and this to me is like one of the defining factors of what Star Wars is the idea that normal people can be heroes, and so I think that both of them do that pretty well.
Yeah, normal people with superpowers.
I think that both Luke and Dipper have this like legacy stuff to them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, good point.
And also, I feel like the relationship between like Dipper and Mabel and Luke and Leia, they're both twins. Ooh.
Oh yeah.
But
nice.
But I also feel like they're both, that stronger together kind of thing, and they balance each other out. Definitely, I don't think that Leia is as silly as Mabel.
Yeah, no,
no, nobody's as silly.
No one's as silly as Mabel.
It's kind of a high bar to get over.
True.
But I think that Mabel brings Dipper back to reality, kind of like Leia brings Luke back to reality sometimes.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. They're both characters that you root for quite a bit. Leia and Mabel both.
True.
And I always wonder if Grunkle Stan is even sort of an Obi-Wan character, leading Dipper to a lot of stuff unknowingly.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to, because he's trying to keep that whole thing underground, the shack, underneath it, a secret. But right. Yeah, I think he's kind of like a hesitant Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Or like an accidental Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Mm.
Or maybe he's more like an old Luke.
Ooh,
there you go.
I like that idea.
That's Space.
So
though.
Underneath the first Jedi temple is this big ridiculous room.
Yes.
Perfect.
And Luke they're actually triplets, so.
Oh, yeah, no, there's like another Luke comes out and it's just Mark Hamill. With Luke.
Right.
Okay, we've officially gone off the rails.
But hey, Matt, where can people find more about you? And also some of the stuff that you're doing in the Star Wars fandom.
Yeah. So I am on a podcast, Home One Hangout, and me and my buddy Mike. You can find us on Podbean. We're at homeonehangout.podbean.com. We've got 3 different shows there. We've got a new blog that we started, which is Home One Hangout at WordPress.com. And then we're on Twitter at Home One Hangout, and I am on there as at Matt Spatzel. And if you can't spell my name, I don't expect you to. It's MattsPaeTzel.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, Matt.
Thank you.
We appreciate your time today.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, it was fun, man.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Yep, you too.
Peace out.
This is Qui-Gon Jinn. I'm here to tell you that the ability to speak does not make you intelligent. But maybe, my young Padawan, simply reading Future of the Force's new articles will provide you with the intelligence that you're looking for. May the Force be with you.
We are back live in the Rapid Fire Fandom Fridays with the one and only Hot Cleffer.
Oh, man. Here we are.
Wow. I think I'm gonna take that recording and just have that play every time I enter my classroom.
That's a
Dude, you should.
great
That would be
idea.
amazing. All right. Anyway, we're here with Mr. Devin Cleffer himself from Unmistakably Star Wars, the unmistakably best, unmistakable podcast in all of Star Wars.
I unmistakably concur with you.
Awesome. And we are doing Rapid Fire Fandom Fridays with musicals.
Yes, Broadway musicals.
Correct.
This is exciting.
It
This is. I always love what people come up with for these, so I'm really. I don't know where this is going to go, but I'm really excited about it.
I don't know where it's going to go either. I feel it's a bit of a Star Wars confession on my part to actually out myself that I'm a Broadway musical lover. So,
I like
grace be with me. Here we go.
So, Devin, why do you love Broadway musicals, and how does that love compare to your love of Star Wars?
I think I love Broadway musicals because it's an incredible talent that I come nowhere close to. So I'm super envious of people that can get up there and dance and portray just a beautiful scene or a beautiful story. And I don't know how it compares. Obviously, I don't have a lot of Les Mis action figures or things. So I'd say it's considerably less than my love for Star Wars. I haven't gone to the Wicked or the Rent celebrations, but I think it's on my list. It's top 5, but there's a big space between Star Wars at number 1 and everything else.
I need a Jean Valjean Funko now.
They probably exist.
It probably
Do
exist.
they have? I'm sure. Why wouldn't they?
Why
That's
wouldn't
a great
they?
idea.
Yeah.
If they don't,
Funko
we need to
makes
get on it.
literally
Exactly.
everything.
Come on.
They could have a Rent Funko and it would just be a cup.
Wow. Yeah. And I would probably buy it. So that's toward the top of my favorite musical. So that's amazing.
Nice. All right, so take 3 characters from, I guess, any musical. So you left yourself a big canvas with which to paint, and plop them into Star Wars.
Okay, all right. Well, so speaking of Rent, I'm going to take Mark from Rent, played by Anthony Rapp, and he's going to be my C-3PO because he's about as neurotic as it gets, and he gets on my nerves equally as well because the dude totally dissed me after the Meet the Cast after Rent and wouldn't even take a picture with me. So
Wow.
he's right up there. Yeah. Anthony Rapp, Anthony Daniels. Is it a coincidence? I don't think so. Number 2, I'm gonna take Roger from Rent because he's kind of the swashbuckling member of that cast, and he's kind of equivalent to Han Solo. He's kind of got that rock and roll vibe. And then I'm gonna take from Wicked. I'm gonna take Elphaba, and she's gonna kind of be my dark Jedi.
Ooh,
Okay.
Interesting.
I'm in.
Right.
Star Wars.
Yeah. See, exactly. Got a little Bill Murray action there. It's just a matter of time before we have a Star Wars musical or Star Wars on Ice, isn't it?
Ooh, Star Wars on Ice. I'd audition for that.
You would, actually.
Rad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. What part would you want to play?
The goalie.
Whoever's allowed to fall down occasionally, and it's not a big deal.
So maybe if they did Order 66 on Ice.
Yeah, there you go. I would be all the Jedi.
A family favorite. Come on, honey, let's see Jedi get slayed. On ice.
On ice.
That makes it okay, though.
Oh,
It's on
nice.
ice.
Right.
Nothing bad can happen on ice.
So,
Truth.
if you take someone from a Broadway musical, keep who they are, and then just put them into Star Wars, who would it be and where would you put them?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I'm gonna go with the Jean Valjean from Les Mis.
Ooh.
Because once again, Star Wars needs more singing beyond Ula and Max Rebo and Figrin Dan. and I think that, Jean Valjean with that whole theme of redemption, I could see he and Kylo doing a duet.
Huh. I like that. I think I like that. Although I'm wondering what Jean Valjean's opinion of Kylo would be.
Well, it's a good question, but here's the connection though, right? Is in an earlier movie version of of Les Mis, played by our very own Liam Neeson.
Oh, how about that?
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I've only seen the most recent one with all the close-up facial shots.
Right, yes. The in-your-face extreme Les Mis. Yeah.
Like literally.
Interesting, no doubt.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, but... It wasn't Star Wars. Anyway,
True.
So,
again.
Flipping this around, if you had to take someone from Star Wars and put them into a musical, who would that be?
Ooh, taking someone from Star Wars and putting them into a musical. So I guess I'm going to kind of combine characters, but it would be fascinating if we had Samuel L. Jackson as Mace Windu, but he also brought a little bit of his character from Pulp Fiction and could just belt out in the high octaves, bad mother. So that would make my day. And wave his purple lightsaber.
Bad mother clever.
Oh my god.
Yes, exactly right.
Brian? My life. Brian?
Yeah, that's me.
So if you could ship one character from... I just laughed. One character from Star Wars and someone from a Broadway musical, who would they be and what would their relationship be like?
So I think I'm going to go back to Wicked and grab Elphaba once again. And I think I'm going to go to Star Wars Rebels and grab Hera. It must be a green thing. I don't know. But I'm putting them off on a journey, and they're going to, I guess, have dialogue about what's right and what's wrong, because Elphaba is a very misunderstood figure, and Hera, I think, can kind of set her right.
Yeah, or, I mean, maybe Hera goes astray.
Maybe she sets Hera wrong.
Oh, well, that could be the case, too.
And then...
Stay tuned, kids.
And then it just turns into one big hot clever.
Oh my gosh. You can't let it go.
It's my favorite thing. I can't help it.
No, it's true. It's true. No, once you get a hold of a hot cleffer, you can't let it go.
That's true. You just gotta grab that hot cleffer by the horns.
Can we just not?
Anyways, where were we?
We've lost the family-friendly rating for the show for this week, but
there's little E's by all of the Hyperspace PodBlasts now.
For extra.
Just real
extra.
Yeah, okay. So, no segue necessary. What are the similarities between Star Wars and musicals? Like as far as thematically or parallels, etc.
Well, I think certainly one of the things that runs parallel in both of them is the way that the music moves you through the story and becomes just as much part of the story as any dialogue or the characters themselves. So I think that that's one of the things that really resonates with me as far as the comparisons and drawing similarities between the two.
That is a very good point, actually.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. It's obviously not as in your face in Star Wars as it is in musicals, since they are called musicals. But yeah, Star Wars without the music would be really weird.
It would be. Yeah, I'm sure you guys have seen that one scene where someone removed all the John Williams score from the Episode 4 award ceremony.
Oh, yeah, it's so awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely awkward.
Well, thanks so much for spending some time with us, Devin. We appreciate it.
My pleasure, guys. Thanks for the invite. Happy to connect anytime.
Oh, yeah. So great.
And so if you need to find Devin on Twitter, just look up the hashtag HotCleffer.
That scarily enough will track me down.
Otherwise,
forever burned into the
if you don't want to do that, how can the good people find you, Sir Tauntaun?
Yeah, if you don't have the courage to type in the hashtag HotCleffer, I don't blame you. But you can find us at UnmistakablySW, or you can find my personal Twitter at Mr. Cleffer, KLEFFER.
#HOT.
Oh my gosh.
KLEFFER.
Yes. You can buy the Hot Cleffer t-shirts and bumper stickers soon in our store.
Oh my gosh, I need that so badly now. I'm going to get a custom license plate. That's what I'm going to do.
No, you're not. No. All
Hot
right.
Cleffer on the back of my Fiat all day.
Wow, that sounded so dirty. But...
All right. We'll talk to you later, Devin.
Hey, thanks, guys. Take care.
Thanks. Talk to you later. Bye.